I'm Kerry Rowett, and this is the Align and Attract podcast, helping you to create your version of an aligned business. Let's dive into today's episode.
3 signs you have a fixed mindset and what to do about it. So, the concept of a growth or a fixed mindset is based on research by Carol Dweck. And basically, it looks at your approach to how you think about your intelligence, your talents, and your personality. So, if you have a fixed mindset, you will look at those particular traits and ways of being, and you will feel, even if it's a little subconscious at times, that is the way that I am. So, if you think about you as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, that would be you seeing that I have these set abilities, talents, personality, and that's who I am. And I just have to kind of work with it. And having a growth mindset means that you see your intelligence, your talents, and your personality, as your core personality, as being like a starting point. This is where you are, these are the building blocks. Of course, should you choose to, you can always develop and grow those. That is how you feel when you are in the space of having a growth mindset. I think it's a really interesting thing to think about. I think as entrepreneurs, particularly for a lot of my clients who work with other people, they can be amazing at holding that growth mindset as a concept and really holding that space for their clients, of believing that their clients, of course, can develop and grow, and that you can support them to create that transformation or that growth. Like, you have no problem seeing that. And yet, the way I sometimes see this fixed mindset come up for my clients is that when something goes wrong, they will revert to more of a fixed mindset. So, what are 3 signs that you might have a bit of a fixed mindset, and what can you actually do about it? So, number 1, when you see someone else succeeding, you will believe that they are succeeding because they are X. So it might be they are more confident, they are extroverted, they have these incredible skills or amazing connections or something like that. So it will be something to do with that person, whereby you're putting them kind of on a pedestal as though they have got this set of traits, this intelligence, this talent, this personality that is kind of fixed and is completely out of reach. Of course, I'm not suggesting that you should need to be that person or try and emulate that person or anything like that. But you can, of course, grow and develop in your own way and be successful, even if you are not X. That's the growth mindset part. I can find my own way to be successful. And number 2, you believe that your own challenges are because you are Y. I am, for example, too much of an introvert. I am too shy. I am afraid to be visible. I can't do X. I'm not good at marketing, or I'm not good at sales, which is sort of interesting even to say, because for many of us, we don't necessarily think in terms of, sales. We think about our beautiful clients and how much we love working with them. But yes, it's that feeling that there is this particular fault in me, and rather than this is something that I can learn, or I can grow, I can change, or I can evolve, or I can work with my own strengths. Instead of that, we will kind of label it as to why we don't think that we are able to succeed, or why we might have a particular challenge. And remembering this might not show up all the time. If it did, you wouldn't be in business. But maybe, you do something like a launch, or you're putting something out there, or you're trying to grow your income. And this is kind of like the default beliefs that will come up at that time. They can show us where we have a fixed mindset. So it doesn't have to be an overall thing. It might reveal itself at particular times. Number 3, you default to beliefs like, I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe, I don't have what it takes. It'll be something like that, which is kind of like a blanket statement. Again, you may not experience this all the time. This is more likely to show up when you're putting yourself out there and when you are challenged in some way. And look, if you have not been putting yourself out there and challenging yourself lately, this might be a reason why. Because when you have a fixed mindset, you always feel like you're being assessed by life. And it's like you are going to succeed or fail. And rather than it just being a situation where you're getting information, you're getting data, you're learning and you're growing. So I'm thinking, for example, in the case of launching, or in doing a webinar, or in learning how to do something else that's new in your business, rather than just seeing it as I'm learning how to do this, sometimes what I see is that we will build it up into, this is a pass fail situation, a success failure situation. And if I don't like that, then I will stop showing up for those kinds of challenges, and I won't do the newer things, or the things that require a little bit more persistence and grit, which is what I'm going to be talking about next week. And that will actually lead to my long-term success. So if you haven't challenged yourself lately, ask yourself why, and then maybe commit to challenging yourself. And then we're going to move into the growth mindset and see how you feel when you apply more of a growth mindset. So, how do you start to apply a growth mindset? Like, if you are noticing that you do have some elements of this fixed mindset, and that maybe that means that you are stuck in trying to prove yourself, and that can be to yourself, trying to prove to yourself that you are good enough, you are worthy enough, you are smart enough, you are blah, blah, blah enough. That's a part of having a fixed mindset. We can get stuck in these kinds of loops of proving. So rather than that, let's start to shift into a growth mindset. So number 1, decide you're going to change your mindset. Research says even understanding the concept of growth mindset, and that it is beneficial for your success, that can actually start to shift your mindset, right? So actually just deciding I am going to have a growth mindset, you have flipped the switch even just a little. And when you do hear some of those comments like I'm not this or they are that, you've got a little bit more awareness right away. It's like, well, that's a fixed mindset. That's interesting. And of course, in the moment, you can flip it around. So if we go back to those examples that we shared, so if you had an example whereby you felt like if someone else is succeeding, or you could think about someone else, but in particular, it's because they are X, what might you choose to believe instead? And it could be, I can learn to become more X, or something along those lines. Or it could be, there are so many different ways to succeed. I can succeed with my unique set of intelligence, talents, my unique personality. I can find my own ways and I can continue to grow and to flourish. When it came to believing your own challenges are because you are, why? Again, you can change that around and realize I can learn and I can grow. That does not have to continue to be a story that I tell myself, because that's not fixed. It's not stagnant. It's not static. It doesn't have to stay exactly the same. I can evolve and I can grow and learn. And then when it came to the beliefs like I'm not good enough, well, obviously you can flip those around. I am good enough. I am worthy enough, and so on. Number 2, decide to see yourself as a learner. So we have touched on that, but rather than feeling like, for example, I need to be the expert or I need to prove myself in some way, really develop that disposition of believing I am always learning, and learning can, of course, take so many different forms, and we don't have to learn everything. So if you believe there's some, maybe lots of things that you are not as good at as you'd like to be, or there's certain skills that you don't have and so on, you don't have to learn how to do all of those. You can see yourself as this extremely resourceful and capable person. Of course, you can outsource some things, sometimes in quite reasonable ways, and believe that you can find solutions, and that for the things that are important that you do want to improve at, you are absolutely capable of doing that. And sometimes it's not just the learning, it's the applying. The more that we do something often, the better we get at it, right? So when we believe that there is value in learning and we see ourselves as someone who can grow, we don't feel like, for example, I can't start a podcast until I am perfect, until I have the perfect this and the perfect that and da 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 da. I mean, that's just an example, but you know how that goes. Happens for so many things. We can feel like things need to be perfect. It's like, well, I am going to be growing and it will evolve. So it's totally okay for me to start in a place that feels great, feels good enough, and then to know I can evolve from that place. Number 3, I have a new webinar for you and I'm super excited about it. It is about upgrading your mindset and really developing your entrepreneur's mindset. Now, we're going to be talking about the growth mindset in that, but we're going to be talking about it a little bit more specifically and really upgrading some of your growth mindset beliefs and really locking those in so that you can approach new things, you can approach challenges, you can approach your big goals in your business from this space of having a growth mindset. And also we're going to be applying another positive psychology theory to our mindset and our approach to our business as well, and that is grit. So I'm going to be talking about that on the podcast next week. And so you can find this webinar at alignandattract.com/mindset. Sign up, and I cannot wait to share an incredible webinar with you. It's not just going to be me relaying information. We're actually going to be helping you to have, a shift, a bit of a transformation right on that call, and really helping you to shift into a whole new space in terms of your mindset and your approach to your business, and how you see yourself as this very capable, resilient, resourceful person who has what it takes to succeed in business. I am so excited about this, and you can find that webinar, as I said, at alignandattract.com/mindset. So go ahead and sign up. Please share it with any friends who you think could benefit from upgrading their mindset. And you could also share them this episode. Thank you so much.
You can find a summary of this episode at alignandattract.com/blog/19. And of course, I would love you to join me for my Mindset Upgrade webinar. It is on the 18th of May at 9:30 a.m. Adelaide time, and you'll be able to access the recording afterwards. If you're listening after May 18, don't worry, just go to this same page and I will send you the replay. So that is at alignandattract.com/mindset.